उधर है।
So I've posted the live link on the chat window. Anybody wants to share, please go ahead, copy, paste and share it.
Sujata, on the live feed, it shows your screen rather than full screen.
Sorry, what does it show? No, there must be a delay, Jyoti. When I'm switching things, then this is happening, right?
Folks, are you able to hear me or see me? This is Lalit.
Yes.
You can see my video too as well with the virtual background.
No, we don't see your video. We are live on YouTube, by the way, right now.
So this is exactly 7:30. So I would like to begin the event. हयात लेके चलो, कायनात लेके चलो, चलो तो सारे जमाने को साथ लेके चलो. Carry your life with you, carry the whole cosmos with you. Wherever you go, take the whole world along with you. These are lines from famous Indian poet Makhdoom Mohyuddin. As we connect with the whole world today, these lines seem very appropriate. We at Poetry of Diaspora in Silicon Valley meet every week to share our passion for poetry. We have created a poetic and inclusive mind space. We are sharing it with you. आज हम सारे ज़माने को अपना शौक और जुनून दिखाना चाहते हैं. I welcome all of you to this event. All those who have joined us on Zoom or watching us on YouTube live or will watch this recording on YouTube in future. You are all welcome. आपका स्वागत है. And now I hand over the responsibility of comparing this event to Sujata. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sandeep. So before we begin with our event, there are some ground rules. Speaker or poet, whoever is speaking, will be spotlighted on Zoom. So on Zoom, if you choose the speaker view, you will be able to see them. Anybody who's not speaking, please stay muted. I or the host will go and find the mute button to make sure that there is no disturbance while the poets are reciting. Everyone is encouraged to turn on their video, but it is optional. After each performance, we will give 30 seconds for applause or any comments. So please feel free to unmute yourself only for those 30 seconds, and then please go ahead and mute yourself for the next performance. Also, if you have phone or anything that will make noise, please keep them muted. So just in case when you are unmuting yourself, there is no disturbance when the poets are performing. So with that, it is my pleasure to introduce the first poet for the day. I'm sorry, Vidurji, the first poet for the day. And Vidurji, in his introduction, he didn't say much, but about his philosophy about the poetry and why he writes the poetry. So, what he believes that poetry is the simplest way of expressing that which is felt intensely in the moment, which, if not expressed, would pass away as a fleeting feeling, unsaid and unforgotten forever. He shares his feelings and writings on his blog vidursadev.wordpress.com. So, ladies and gentlemen, I give you Vidur.
Thank you so much, Sujata. The title of my piece today is Poetry Itself, which further explains what I feel about poetry. So here it goes. When the stormy clouds of a normally peaceful mind hold more weight than they can retain, I am the words that fall like incessant rain. When the continuing silence of your own voice goes beyond the realms of what the heart can contain, according to Collins Dictionary, I'm the words that fall like incessant rain. When the flow of love is a sea within, seeking its share of reciprocation from the universe's expanse, I'm the words that fall like incessant rain. When the insides are scorched by a relentless drought, and the fumes of the vaporous soul are too much to bear, I am the words that fall like incessant rain. When the tears of joy or the cuts of sorrow swell beyond their threshold gates, and your eyes can't find any ears that will oblige, that silent voice which makes no sound, I am the words that fall like incessant rain. When you follow your heart and ignite dreams of passion, while the sapling within cries out to the existing reality for a little bit of comforting compassion, I am the words that fall like incessant rain. When love is the unknown abyss that you've happily jumped into without a care for what your past or your future might think, I am the words that fall like incessant rain. When the mirage you see sends a shiver down your spine or strikes you like a thunderbolt, and you want to immortalize that feeling forever, I am the words that fall like incessant rain. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Vidurji. Can we have a round of applause?
Amazing.
Thank you, Vidur. Wonderful.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Very nice, Vidur.
Jyoti ji, one housekeeping thing. Since you're the host, can you please mute people who are not speaking? We heard some noises in the background. Thank you.
I did that.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So with that, I will give you the. Oh, sorry. I will. Now I'm getting technically challenged. Oh, I think Jyoti ji, you have to now remove people from spotlight because you're the host now. So if you can spotlight me for a second while I introduce Pragalba, who's the next.
You're showing up as spotlighted on my end.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry for this technical glitch because at my end Vidur is showing as spotlighted. It's okay, I will continue. So our next speaker is Pragalba Doshi. For Pragalba ji, poetry came as an expression of awakening and healing. It brought alive to her the nature of existence and the world in relation to life. Inspirational and soothing are two common responses to her poetry. She posts regularly on her blog Infinite Living, and the URL will be posted later. So with that, I'll give you Pragalba ji.
Thank you very much, Sujata. And thank you everyone for joining. I'll be reading two poems and I'll leave my favorite for last. I'll begin with the other one. It's titled Nowhere is Somewhere. If you find yourself lonely and nowhere, know that you're definitely somewhere. Look back where you have been, perhaps surrounded by company. You seem to have moved on unseen, probably looking for some symphony. Scary as it may seem, rise above all that agony. Fall deep in your own self. Sound of your breath and your heartbeat, first tangible ways of feeling and knowing yourself. As you rest there a while, new directions and new perceptions, new instincts and new inspirations, new experiences and new interactions, so much of the brilliance to unfold. Nothing, though, you can hold. Sight of a squirrel lifts you to lightness. Sight of the sun offers such brightness. The moon shines with so much love. Suddenly, in the middle of nowhere, as you become now here, you find yourself somewhere on this miracle of a planet. Lonely becomes a lot of rich alone. More alone ones come for sweet company. All of life simply a perfect symphony. Thank you.
Great, Pragalba. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very nice. Very beautiful.
Beautiful.
Very, very
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This was amazing.
So I'll do my second poem, which I think is my favorite. It's titled Feeling Invisible. Feeling invisible, I seek longingly. To become visible, I burn seethingly. Find that the burning shines bright my yearning. You drop a glance at me, then take it away so quickly. In that moment, I know, and you know what we see. Now I want to keep burning all that feels invisible in my feeling. Each time you look away, I will keep burning away until I shine so bright you can't evade my light. The heat of this resolve melts away my fury. As I come to know newly, there is no you or I. What's burning away is my own lie. What you are is the divine I. None but that part of me that I am not willing to see. Rather than simply and magnificently be, keeps hiding behind the cloak of invisibility. And the fear of dying unseen, or is it the fear of living and being seen? Oh dear me, the heart keeps beating. Be kind with your breathing. All is good about the burning. All is beautiful about the feeling. Oh dear me, there is no you, no me. All there is to love me. So I love me. Very good,
Oh,
Prabhu.
beautiful.
Thank
Fantastic.
you.
Beautiful, Pragalba. Very good.
Thank you so
Very
much.
beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your kind attention, everybody.
Great one, Pragalba. Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Pragalba, for these awesome two poems. So with this, we'll move to the next poet of the day. Jyoti ji, can you try to change the spotlight?
So that I made you the host.
Oh. Okay. So our next poet for today is Jay. Jay was raised in Hyderabad. He writes in 3 languages, English, Telugu and Urdu. Recently, he has been writing predominantly in Urdu. He is a neuroscientist by training and in his own words, poetry is a perfect complement to the methodical pursuit of scientific knowledge. Today, he will read a poem in English and, time permitting, a new ghazal in Urdu. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I give you Jay.
Thanks for the introduction, Sujata. Can you guys hear me? Okay, so first I'm going to read this one poem called It Must Be a Full Moon Night in America or Somewhere. It must be a full moon night in America or somewhere, while the midwinter equatorial sky is swaddling an unborn moon in a crescent-shaped cradle, sound-free trinkets with dope smile, persistent from a strong dose of peace, hang above its damp, warm, soft gray woolen blankets. My neighbor opens his windows to let the cool, refreshing evening freedom blow into his living room. I follow the freedom with my eyes from afar, watch it lift up dried dreams from under park benches and ruffle up empty shells of the aftermath of human being. From places inhabited by dogs, underpaid migrant maids, and yogins who at leisure in San Francisco would perhaps be wearing Lululemons and a big shoe satchel, whores with their cigarette butts and the perverted dandy gaze of my exuberance. Meanwhile, his wife is drying laundry in a kitchen veranda, hoisting wet flags of old blouses, shirts, and pillowcases, reusable face masks with flowers and batik prints that could have been a daughter's panties, if not for the color-titled revolutions, tiled economic zones, and pale, failed coups. It must be a full moon night in America, she says. I want to flirt, but I also want to fight. Don't call me a horse, she says. My energy is all over the course. It must be a full moon night in America, or some way. My friends are howling in packs and grabbing hands and crying to relief it rains from across the ocean. The hands, not the pussy, she shouts. I like this country of warmongers who do not understand consent. I like this country, she yells, of many crimes and college fees, but I still cry for a place I call home. All metaphors are for you. All metaphors are for you, my dwindling romance. What to write home about you, my dwindling romance? A lump wants to just lump around. It must be a full moon night in America or somewhere. My neighbor is perhaps eating his bakute. I hear him slurp that freedom one spoonful at a time. So that was the first one. I mean, do we have time, Sujata?
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. So this is a more recent ghazal I wrote in Urdu. बर्फ पिघल रही है उरिया सीने पे, अटल रही है प्यास. बर्फ पिघल रही है उरिया सीने पे, अटल रही है प्यास. तेरे खुशबू की तपिश से उबल रही है प्यास. तेरे खुशबू की तपिश से उबल रही है प्यास. शमाए तूर सी आई हो मुद्दत बाद फिराक, और आफताब जुनू को आंखों से निगल रही है प्यास. आफताब जुनू को आंखों से निगल रही है प्यास. गुनगुना रहे हैं कंदील की छाए में करवट बदन के तेरे. गुनगुना रहे हैं कंदील की छाए में करवट बदन के तेरे. नीम रोशनी में लबे साज़े हयात बदल रही है प्यास. नीम रोशनी में लबे साज़े हयात बदल रही है प्यास. दूर से कोई बांसुरी की सुर, कभी आवारा मीर के शेर. दूर से कोई बांसुरी की सुर, कभी आवारा मीर के शेर. बनकर आज़ान इश्क रग रग में पहल रही है प्यास. बुझा न सकूं चिंगारी जुस्तजू चाहूं भी तो अगर. बुझा न सकूं चिंगारी जुस्तजू चाहूं भी तो अगर. एक आतिश फिशा है यादों में जिसे पल रही है प्यास. एक आतिश फिशा है यादों में जिसे पल रही है प्यास. और आखिरी शेर की एंड द लास्ट कपलर इज. लुटा दिया ईमान सारा रात के बेनजीर गलियों में तेरी. लुटा दिया ईमान सारा रात के बेनजीर गलियों में तेरी. एक दरिया पी गया हूं और बेखलल रही है प्यास. बर्फ पिघल रही है उरिया सीने पे, अटल रही है प्यास. तेरे खुशबू की तपिश से उबल रही है प्यास. Thank
क्या
you.
बात है.
Wow. बहुत good.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
What a treat to hear you.
Awesome.
Wonderful.
Wonderful.
Good job.
Thank you.
Always great.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jay.
Thank you. Thank you. So I'm sorry, I'm getting so many messages that people are not able to chat with everyone. That option seems to be blocked. I'm so sorry. It might be something to do with the way the meeting is set up. So I will, I don't know if I can change it right now. So if you need to share comments, only option now is to either share with the poet individually, or if you want to send something, send it to me. I will share it with everyone, or you can post it on YouTube. I'm so sorry for this. I was not aware that Zoom would do that. So with that little glitch, we will go to our next poet for today, Anuradha ji.
Hello.
Yeah. So poetry for Anuradha ji is a means of finding the underlying meaning in life experiences. Her poems were first published in the quarterly magazine of the Theosophical Society American section. She is a former journalist. She has authored several books which speak to this ideal. Her book, Agastya History, Legend and Reality, is finding readership worldwide and led her to her presentation on the ancient stage of India, Agastya, to the Singapore Indian Heritage Center Museum recently. So with that, I give you Anuradha ji. Please welcome her.
Thank you very much. Namaste. Today, we are in a rapidly changing world where news of fires, wars, violence, climate change are constantly bombarding us from all sides. As we face challenges in our lives and the world around us, what is it that each one of us is looking for? Despite the diverse world we live in, all of us have but one goal in everything we do. Whether we are eating, resting, working, spending time with family, all these actions are always geared towards finding happiness and thereby peace. How do we find it? If God were speaking to us today, I believe He would say, "Seek, and in me peace you shall find. Run not after glory, riches, and fame. Glory, riches, and fame you shall soon leave forever behind. As fiery flames your body doth consume, you will be mere dust, and all shall be in vain. All shall be in vain. The silks, the gold, the materials superfine will soon another living body adorn. Melodious bells and scent of the jasmine white will no longer reach your ears nor please your seeking eyes. Daughter, son, friend, and husband you hold so dear, from their memory one day you too will disappear. Hours and days you spent in toil and play, no lasting trails of fire did your actions place. Awake, my daughter, awake before it's too late. Still the clamor of your myriad thoughts and ways. Hold only me in your heart, mind, and soul. Seek, and in me peace everlasting find. Namaste.
It was beautiful, beautiful.
Very beautiful.
Thank you so much, Anuradha ji. Yes, so yes, Kamla ji send me some comments, so I posted to everyone. So if anyone has comment that you want to post to everyone, I'll be happy to do that. So with that, we'll move on to the next poet for the day, Maithri Chaudhary. So she is going to give a tribute to two poets, Warsan Shire and Aseto Zango. The poem she has picked today to recite is by Aseto. It is called Give Your Daughter a Difficult Name. It is a revolutionary poem that Maithri feels that it was for her. This poem has helped her find the relationship between her name and herself as she is and she was and as she will be. For this, Maithri is deeply grateful. You can learn more about the poem and Asato here at the link. I'll post the link and I'll also post the link to Anuradha ji's book. So with that, I'll give the stage to Maithri. Go ahead.
To poets.org, where it was first published, Asitao Shango. Give your daughters difficult names, names that command the full use of the tongue. My name makes you want to tell me the truth. My name does not allow me to trust anyone who cannot pronounce it right. This part is by Washan Sher. Many of my contemporaries, role models, but especially ancestors, have a name that brings the tongue to worship. Names that feel like ritual in your mouth. I don't want a name said without pause, muttered without intention. I'm through with names that leave me unmoved, names that leave the speaker's mouth unscathed. I want a name like fire, like rebellion, like my hand gripping Masa's whip. I want a name from before the ships, a name Donald Trump might choke on. I want a name that catches you in the throat if you say it wrong. And if you are afraid to say it wrong, then I guess I want a name only the brave can say. A name that only fits right in the mouth of those who love me right. Because only the brave can love me right. Asetao Shango is the name you take when you are tired of burying your jewels under thick layers of soot and self-doubt. Aseto, the light, Shango, the pickaxe, so that people must mine your soul just to get your attention. If you have to ask why I changed my name, it is already too far beyond your comprehension. Call me callous, but with a name like Shango, I cannot afford to tread lightly. You go hard or you go home, and I'm centuries and ships away from any semblance of a homeland. I'm a thief's poor bookkeeping skills away from any source of ancestry. I'm blindly collecting the shattered pieces of a continent, much larger than my comprehension. I hate explaining my name to people. Their eyes peering over my journal, looking for a history they can rewrite. Ask me what my name means. What the fuck does your name mean, Linda? Not every word needs an English equivalent in order to have significance. I'm done folding myself up to fit your stereotype, your black friend, your headline, your African queen meme, your hurt feelings, your desire to learn the rhetoric of solidarity without the practice. I do not have time to carry your allyship. I'm trying to build a continent, a country, a home. My name is the only thing I have that is unassimilated, and I'm not even sure I can call it mine. The body is a safeless place if you do not know its name. Aseto is what it sounds like when you are trying to bend a syllable into a hole, with shaky shudders and wind whistling through your empty. I feel empty. There is no safety in a name, no home in a body. A name is honestly just a name. A name is honestly just a ritual, and it still sounds like reverence. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Superb. Absolutely.
This is
Superb
so,
Always incredible. Yeah.
it's so powerful.
Amazing.
Thanks, Maithri. This is beautiful.
Thanks to Asha too.
Thank you for reading it. It's just wonderful the way you read it.
Did you join the meeting?
Sorry, what?
I don't see her. I don't think she has.
Okay, anyway, you can send the link to her.
Okay, so with that, continuing the program, we will go to our next poet, Kamla Tyagarajan. Kamla Tyagarajan is a scientific researcher who lives in Bay Area, California. She enjoys writing poems on various aspects of life, but also particularly loves writing scientific poetry, bringing elements of cellular biology and nature to life. Kamla mainly writes in English and is fond of writing short and simple poems. So, with that, let me spotlight Kamla ji. Yes.
Thank you, Sujata. Thank you for the kind introduction. Today I have 3 very short poems on slightly different topics. The first one is untitled, and it goes, I love pencils, for I can erase my mistakes easily with them. When I grew up, they said, it's harder to erase mistakes. Then they gave me the pen.
Wow.
Fabulous, fabulous.
Very
Very
beautiful.
short and yeah, as a punchline. Great.
Great, Kamla.
Amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I'll move on to the next poem. This is called The Road. I'm driving on life's freeway, going along with the flow. The merges are easy. Lane changes are a little difficult. And the exits, rare and few. Good heavens, my brakes don't work.
Fantastic.
Excellent, excellent. So good.
So perfect.
Wow.
All right, so the third little poem I have for you is a scientific poem, and this is on light. And it goes this way. About light, there was a racket. Newton thought they were packets. Huygens thought they were waves. Now both lie in their graves. It's cruel, but light's dual. Thank you.
Very nice. This should be in the curriculum, probably.
That's just brilliant.
Brilliant, brilliant.
So brilliant. Yeah.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I will now introduce Dr. Jyoti Bachani.
Hold on, Sandeep. Let me spotlight you.
Sure.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Sujata. So yeah, I would now introduce Dr. Jyoti Bachani, and it's my privilege, like that I'm introducing her. She is the founder of this poetry group that has met regularly in her home for past 5 years. She is a professor who teaches MBA about humanizing management through the arts. This January, she edited the memory book of poetry.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Memory book of poetry of diaspora in Silicon Valley, and a special issue of the Journal of Organizational Aesthetics on poetry of organizing. She has translated over 100 Hindustani poems and read them to hundreds at San Francisco, Litquake, Poets Church in London, and a public event in India and USA. And a special thanks to Jyoti ji today for founding this forum for all of us. And it's a fruit of that the efforts that we are all here together reciting the poetry. So Jyoti ji, I won't take any more time and give the stage to you. It's all yours. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I get to enjoy the title of being the founder of the group, but there is no group unless all of you show up. For a year and a half, we have met weekly. Many of us have never met face to face, but we have become intimate friends through the beauty of poetry. The poem I've chosen to read this evening is by a Hindi poet, Vinod Kumar Shukla. I will read the English translation first and then read the original in Hindi, because we are transitioning at this halfway point from English poems to Hindi poems. I've shared the link with Sujata, who will share it with you. It's one of my favorite poems, and it's dedicated to the times and to all of you being here. Defeated, a man sat down. Defeated, a man sat down. A man I did not know. Defeat, I knew. So I went to this man and offered my hand. He took my hand to stand. He did not know me. He knew and offered hand. We both walked together. We did not know each other. We did know walking together. I want to say a word of thanks to servicespace.org and Awaken Circles. My ability to host grew from attending meditation circle with the Awaken group. And I also want to say thanks to Mahendra Khutre, the founder of Kavya Connections, who brought us all together originally. Now for the English the Hindi original by Vinod Kumar Shukla. हताशा से एक व्यक्ति बैठ गया था. हताशा से एक व्यक्ति बैठ गया था. व्यक्ति को मैं नहीं जानता था. हताशा को जानता था. इसलिए मैं उस व्यक्ति के पास गया. मैंने हाथ बढ़ाया. मेरा हाथ पकड़कर वह खड़ा हुआ. मुझे वह नहीं जानता था. मेरे हाथ बढ़ाने को जानता था. हम दोनों साथ चले. दोनों एक दूसरे को नहीं जानते थे. साथ चलने को जानते थे.
वाह.
Thank you.
आपका ट्रांसलेशन
Excellent translation.
I would be remiss if I did not plug our own group. Every Saturday night, just like Awaken Circles, it's an open door. Anybody's welcome to come read and listen and hang out with strangers. Through the pandemic, I found that sitting down with
every time I land on this, I get $100.
to just share our stories and poems was the most important thing to do. Thank you. And I will pass the baton to Pragalba.
Just one thing, I would request anyone who is not speaking should mute their microphones, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Jyoti. I am honored and privileged to be here and to follow you in this event. I want to take my 10 seconds to express my heartfelt gratitude to you and the group and the space that you have facilitated and cultivated for us to come together and dare to, at some times, feel like we are poets and express our poetry in these open forums. Thank you to you and Sandeep and Sujata and everybody here. And with that, I introduce our next poet, Lalit Kumar. Lalit Kumar works in the technology sector, but retains an artist's heart. He likes to read and write poetry, apart from indulging in outdoor activities and adventure sports. Recently, he started curating famous works of poetry and occasionally his own on YouTube. Tonight, he brings us two of his original Hindi kavita. It's Hindi poetry. Welcome, Lalit.
Thank you, Pragalba. Thank you so much for such a generous introduction. And thank you everyone for attending this meet. I'm really glad to be part of this group. I have learned a lot over the days, I would say, right? So आज मैं आप लोगों के सामने हिंदी की 2 कविताएं लेकर उपस्थित हुआ हूं। कविता के पृष्ठभूमि में केवल इतना कहना चाहूंगा कि यूं तो जिंदगी में थोड़ा बहुत दर्द सबको है। कुछ टूटे ख्वाब, कुछ बिखरे सपने, कुछ अधूरे रिश्ते, कुछ और पाने की चाह। हम सब जिंदगी की राह में कभी न कभी इन भावनाओं से अवगत हुए हैं। इसी बात को उजागर करते हुए कविता का शीर्षक है, पहली कविता का शीर्षक है दर्द स्वीकार मुझे। हार का गम नहीं, जीत का फक्र नहीं। हार का गम नहीं, जीत का फक्र नहीं। चल पड़े अपनी राह बेपरवाह जमाने से। पर्वत आए तो आए या लहरों की उफान आए, चीर लेंगे हर बाधाएं, ढूंढ लेंगे अपना रास्ता। ऐ दर्द तू विघ्न न डाल, ऐ दर्द तू विघ्न न डाल। ये अश्वमेध है मेरी तपस्या, ज्वाला जो है सीने में, चिंगारी मेरे पसीने में। फिर रोक सके कौन मुझे, डर गए वो हम नहीं। झुक गए तबीयत नहीं, रुक गए फितरत नहीं। अब कौन बांधेगा उसे जो चल पड़ा मंजिल की ओर। हार में या जीत में ऐ दर्द तू हर बार स्वीकार मुझे। धन्यवाद।
बहुत खूबसूरत। गालिब पे छोटा सा शेर पढ़ूंगा ऐड करने के लिए कि रंज से उगर हुआ,
बहुत शानदार।
रंज से उगर हुआ इंसान तो मिट जाता है रंज, मुश्किलें मुझ पर पड़ी इतनी कि आसान हो गई। बहुत बढ़िया।
बहुत खूब संदीप, और बहुत अच्छा लगा आपका वाकया सुनकर। धन्यवाद, शुक्रिया। दूसरा कविता का शीर्षक है क्या डरना। क्या तिल तिल पिसना सिलसिल जीना, क्या तिल तिल पिसना सिलसिल जीना। अब जीना तो बेखौफ जीना। मन का डर कुछ और नहीं, पैरों में ये बेड़ियां हैं। स्थिर जमीन सा देह तुम्हारा, खुले आसमां सा विस्तृत मन। कब तक गुमसुम मुख बैठा, नीले अंबर को तरसेगा। कल एक और सवेरा है, आरंभ कर अपनी उड़ान। पंख खोल हौसला बांध, नाप ले तू आंधी तूफान। डर के आगे तेरी दुनिया है, असीम प्रशस्त परिपूर्ण। कर ले अब ओजस्वी मन, पुख्ता अपना ये तन। धन्यवाद।
बहुत खूब। Was amazing.
बहुत खूब।
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you all.
Thank you. That was fabulous. Thank you. Yeah, you've got some nice comments, I guess, that Sujata is posting. And now I really proudly introduce our next poet, who has brought in our regular Saturday meetings Sanskrit literature and humor together for us. He did not write that in the bio, but I couldn't miss saying that, you know, like bringing Sanskrit literature and making us laugh with some humor. That was a highlight for all of us in our poetry nights. His name is Navaneeth Galagali. He's a software engineer in the California Bay Area who slyly siphons away time for his excursions with literature and music. His present obsessions include Sanskrit and Kannada literature. He's also learning Hindustani classic vocal music and tabla. Tonight, he recites a Sanskrit poem by Sundara Pandya. Welcome, Navaneeth.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for the introduction, Pragalba. Today, I'll be reciting a verse by a king named Sundara Pandya, who lived in the 13th century. And he's written a verse on stage fear. So I'm going to recite the verse and then translate it. Nahutapi purah padam rachayati praptopakantham hathat prashtana prativakti kampamayate stambham samalambate Vaivarnyam swarabhanga manchati balat mandaksha mandanana kashtam bho pratibhavatopyabhisabam वाणी नवोढायते Nahutapi purah padam rachayati. Remember, this is a verse on stage fear. Though he's called, his feet do not come forward. Praptopa kantham hatat. It's as though someone is grasping his throat. Prishtana prativakti. When questioned, he doesn't reply. Kampa mayate. He trembles. Stambham samalambate. He stands stiff like a pillar. Vaivarnyam. He goes pale. Swarabhanga manchati balat. He mumbles and stutters his words. Mandaksha mandanana. And he's bashful and timid. Kashtam bhoho. Indeed, it's difficult. Pratibhavatopyabhisabham vani navodhayate. Even a genius, a talented person, when confronted with an audience, finds his speech shy like a newly wedded wife. Vani navodhayate. Vani means speech. That's the verse I was going to present today. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah.
That is brilliant, Navaneeth. Thank you.
Brilliant.
Exactly.
Brilliant.
Brilliant.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Very well presented, Navaneeth.
Yeah. Thank you so much. This is what we get to hear almost all Saturdays he's with us. So that's a carrot. Our next presenter is Saswati Das. Saswati Das, an engineer by profession and a poetess by heart. Her published works include a poetry book in English. It's called Fragrant Flute of Fire, and another poetry book in Hindi, Kalpanaएं. She wants to be remembered as a people poetess, a daughter of the soil, in whose poetry all the souls who have been denied can find acceptance. Tonight, she brings two of her original Hindi kavita. It's always a treat to hear Shaswati, so here's Shaswati for you.
Thank you, Pragalba. So I would like to recite two of my poems in Hindi. The first one is Mrityu. मृत्यु. आजकल अक्सर लोगों की मृत्यु की खबरें आती है. महामारी में लोगों की मौत की खबरें, अनगिनत लाशें, अनगिनत कब्रें. दुर्घटना में लोगों की मौत की खबरें, रास्तों में अनगिनत खून के छुट. प्राकृतिक आपदाओं में लोगों की मौत की खबरें, बीमारी में, बुढ़ापे में प्रियजनों की मौत की खबरें. ऐसा लगता है जैसे कि लोग हमसे छूटते जा रहे हो. हर मौत के साथ जैसे दिल का एक टुकड़ा टूट सा गया हो. लेकिन सबसे बड़ा दुख तो तब होता है जब एक इंसान दूसरे इंसान को मारता है. एक वर्ग के लोग दूसरे वर्ग के लोगों का शिकार करते हैं. एक मजहब के अनुगामी दूसरे मजहब के अनुगामियों का खून के प्यासे बन जाते हैं. एक देश दूसरे देशों के शिशुओं पर बम बरसाते हैं. वो अनगिनत मौत जिन्हें टाला भी जा सकता था, वो नन्ही कलियां जो मुरझा गई वो खिल भी सकती थी. वो कोख जो उजड़ गई वो ना भी उजड़ सकती थी. वो बच्चे जो अनाथ हुए वो वालिदा के साये में पनप भी सकते थे, पर ऐसा हुआ नहीं. काश की जनसंहार के हथियार न बनते, काश की पूंजीवादी ये समाज ना होता, काश की जिंदगी इतनी सस्ती ना होती, पर ऐसा हुआ नहीं. काश. Thank you.
बहुत शानदार, बहुत शानदार, बहुत
Yeah, you read with such feeling.
Thank
Beautiful.
you.
Very
बहुत
beautiful.
ही मार्मिक Saswati. Very well.
Lovely.
Very well written.
Thank you. The next one that I'm going to recite is a shorter one. Its name is सत्य. वो सत्य जिसे हमने किताबों में पढ़ा था, कभी सीखा था पाठशाला में वालिद वालिदा के साये में. वो सत्य जिसके लिए हुए थे कुर्बान न जाने कितने वीर जवान. वो सत्य जिसे छुपाया जाता है बंद कमरों में, दम घोटा जाता है कारावास में, दफनाया जाता है इतिहास में. वो सत्य जिसे लोग ढकते हैं काली चादरों में, कपट अंधेरी रातों में. सत्य जो जिंदगी से कहीं दूर है, मौत के इतने करीब, आज उसी सत्य के लिए फिर से सूली पर चढ़ेगा एक दिलेर बंदा। ऐ खुदा, तुझसे बस यही है इल्तिजा, तू इंसानियत में सत्य को जीवित रखना।
बहुत खूब शास्वती, so
Thank
beautiful.
you.
Very beautiful.
बहुत ही खूबसूरत एहसास।
You're a true people poetess.
Thanks for the honor.
You are, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Feel humbled by your praise.
It is yours, the praise and the words and everybody's appreciation. And our next poetry reader is Shashank Dabriwal, another engineer and in our group who has the heart of a poet. So Shashank Dabriwal, an engineer by profession, who has a feeling that his life is being guided by some of his favorite poets. His earliest childhood memories involve his father reciting Hindi poetry to him. While he enjoyed the beauty of expression, eventually he also became conscious of their power, of how they come to rescue in difficult situations. They became his guide through his life. Tonight, he brings us a kavita, a Hindi poem by Rashmi Rathi.
Hi, everyone. The poetry that I'm going to recite is an excerpt from this epic poetry by Ramdhari Singh Dinkar called Rashmi Rathi. And Rashmi Rathi is essentially a story of Karna from Karna's perspective. And Karna was one of those characters in Mahabharata who never did anything wrong, but like always got the short end of the stick. And it has a lot of like interesting moral and lessons as well as like wisdom, and not just like a description of the story. So the excerpt that I'm going to read from it is based on the story of a Nag called Ashwasen. अब मैं हिंदी में स्विच करता हूँ. तो इसके पीछे की स्टोरी है कि अश्वसेन नाम का एक नाग होता है जिसकी अर्जुन के साथ पुरानी दुश्मनी होती है. और जैसा कि हम जानते हैं कि कर्ण के जीवन का लक्ष्य है कि उसे पार्थ को हराना है और पार्थ को मारना है. तो सिचुएशन का फायदा उठाते हुए अश्वसेन युद्ध स्थल में कर्ण के सामने आता है और कहता है कि तुम मेरा इस्तेमाल करके फायदा उठा के अर्जुन को हरा लो. So now that we are living in an age where experience always takes precedence over principle, right? How does Karna deny Ashwasen? तो उसका बहुत ही सुंदर डिस्क्रिप्शन रामधारी सिंह दिनकर जी ने अपने शब्दों में किया है. तो वो इस प्रकार है. वीर रस में है कविता थोड़ी, तो bear with me. चल रहा महाभारत का रण, जल रहा धरित्री का सुहाग, फट कुरुक्षेत्र में खेल रही नर के भीतर की कुटिल आग, बाजियों गजों की लोथों में गिर रहे मनुज के छिन्न अंग, बह रहा चतुष्पद और विपद का रुधिर मिश्र हो एक संग, गतवर गहरे या सुधर भूधर से लिए रक्त रंजित शरीर, थे जूझ रहे कौन्तेय कर्ण, क्षण क्षण करते गर्जन गंभीर. दोनों रणकुशल धनुर्धर नर, दोनों संबल, दोनों समर्थ, दोनों पर दोनों की अमोघ थी विशिक वृष्टि हो रही व्यर्थ. इतने में शर के लिए कर्ण ने देखा जो अपना निशंक, तर्कस में से फुंकार उठा कोई प्रचंड विषधर भुजंग, बोला कि कर्ण मैं अश्वसेन विश्रुत भुजंगों का स्वामी हूं, जन्म से पार्थ का शत्रु परम तेरा बहुविधि हितकामी हूं. बस एक बार कर कृपा धनुष पर चढ़ श्रव्य तक जाने दे, इस महाशत्रु को अभी तुरंत संदन में मुझे सुलाने दे, कर वमन गरल जीवन भर का संचित प्रतिशोध उतारूंगा, तू मुझे सहारा दे बढ़कर मैं अभी पार्थ को मारूंगा. राधेय जरा हंसकर बोला. राधेय इज अनदर नेम फॉर कर्ण. राधेय जरा हंसकर बोला, अरे कुटिल बात क्या कहता है, जय का समस्त साधन नर का अपनी बाहों में रहता है, उस पर भी सांपों से मिलकर मैं मनुज से युद्ध करूं, जीवन भर जो निष्ठा पाली उससे आचरण विरुद्ध करूं, तेरी सहायता से जय तो मैं अनायास पा जाऊंगा, पर आने वाली मानवता को क्या मुख दिखलाऊंगा. संसार कहेगा जीवन का सब सुकृत कर्ण ने शार किया, प्रतिभट के वध के लिए सर्प का पापी ने सहाय लिया. हे अश्वसेन तेरे अनेक वंशज है छिपे नरों में भी, सीमित वन में ही नहीं बहुत बसते पुरग्राम घरों में भी, ये नरभुजंग मानवता का पथ कठिन बहुत कर देते हैं, प्रतिबल के वध के लिए नीच सहाय सर्प का लेते हैं। ऐसा ना हो इन सांपों में मेरा भी उज्जवल नाम चढ़े, पाकर मेरा आदर्श और कुछ नरता का ये पाप बढ़े। अर्जुन है मेरा शत्रु किंतु वह सर्प नहीं नर ही तो है। अर्जुन है मेरा शत्रु किंतु वह सर्प नहीं नर ही तो है। संघर्ष सनातन नहीं, शत्रुता इस जीवन भर ही तो है। अगला जीवन फिर किस लिए भला हो द्वेषांध बिगाड़ू मैं, सांपों की जाकर शरण सर्प बन क्यों मनुष्य को मारू मैं। जा भाग मनुज का सहज शत्रु, मित्रता न मेरी पा सकता, मैं किसी हेतु भी यह कलंक खुद पर नहीं लगा सकता। धन्यवाद।
So powerful, so beautiful.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Before you go, I want to apologize for my ignorance for pronouncing Rashmi Rathi and turning it into Rashmi Rathi. Total ignorance on my part. I thought it wasn't typed right when it came to me. So I'm happy to be educated on it, followed by a wonderful recitation.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And I am super happy to introduce our next poetess, artist. And well, let me just read her bio, because there's so much to her. Her name is Sujata Tibrewala. You've already heard her in another role. She's wearing multiple hats today. And Sujata Tibrewala is an engineer by profession and eco-feminist artist by choice. She has been showing her work at various prestigious venues in India and US, including Lalit Kala Academy, New Delhi, UUIC Chicago. Her work has been featured at major publications in India and US like Delhi Doordarshan, Indian Express, Times of India, Hindustan Times, Broadway World, National Museum of History USA, etc. Tonight, she brings her original Hindi poem accompanied by her own art. Really, like, you're in for a treat. It's a treasure, her paintings and how she accompanies them with her own poems. And as if that wasn't enough, she's now also accompanied by Lakshmi, Alap by Lakshmi. So there's music, paintings, and poetry all coming together in a powerful bundle. Sujata Tibrewala and Lakshmi. Lakshmi has navigated the worlds of technology and finance before discovering the riches in Indian classical music. She trains in the Gwalior Gayaki under the guidance of her guru, Vidushi Neela Bhagwat. So here's Sujata and Lakshmi.
Thank you so much for that kind introduction. So the poetry I'm going to recite today tells the story of three women. One of them is in her 20s, the other one is in her 40s, and the third one is a timeless woman. No prizes in guessing who is me. One of them is me, yes. The other real person featuring in the poem is someone who I know, but interestingly, she grew up in another part of the world as me. The timeless woman featured here is someone who we have grown up worshipping as a model woman and is stuff of folklore. What is interesting and what inspired me to write this poetry is that the instances that I feature here in the poetry today are from their life when they were not aware that they were girls, and that what being a girl means, and the similarities or a parallel thread that holds between these women and this woman that the society considers as ideal. So as I read through the poem and as you experience the performance today, what I request of you is try to remember something either from your own childhood or from a girl that you know, when that girl did not know that she was a girl and what it means to them. So here it is. इससे पहले कि जान सकूं मैं कमजोर और कमसिन हूं, भर ली थी मैंने उड़ान सीढ़ी के पार उस मुंडेर पर। मेरे छोटे छोटे पांव बड़ी बड़ी सीढ़ियां चढ़ गए, निडर अवाक मैं दुनिया से ऊपर, दुनिया मेरे नीचे, क्योंकि मैं नहीं जानती थी कि मैं कमजोर और कमसिन हूं। मैं नहीं जानती थी कि मैं कमजोर और कमसिन हूं, तो झट जाकर दूध खींच लाई अपने से दोगुना कद के बालक से। वो रोता, मैं दूध पीती। वो बोतल किसी नए खिलौने सी नायाब लगी मुझे, तो झट जाकर खींच लाई जैसे हनुमान जाकर सूरज निकल गया था, क्योंकि मैं नहीं जानती थी ना कि मैं कमजोर और कमसिन हूं। मैं नहीं जानती थी कि मैं कमजोर और कमसिन हूं, तो जिसे उठाने को 4 सैनिक लगते थे उसे मैंने अकेले ही उठा लिया। वो शिव का दिया धरती माँ की गोद से उपजा शिव धनुष जो था, मगर मेरे पिता के चेहरे पे उल्लास नहीं चिंता आई मुझसे बलशाली वर खोजने की, क्योंकि वो जान गए थे कि मैं कमजोर और कमसिन ना थी। हे माँ, तू मेरी जन्मदाई, तू मेरी कोख से आई, ये काली रक्त सरिता तुझसे मुझ में समाई। फिर क्यों तू और मैं अशोक वाटिका में अपने कुंवर की बाट जो हैं, हम क्यों ना हर उस महिषासुर का वध कर दें जिसने हमारे केशों में आसमान को कैद न होने दिया। हम क्यों ना हर उस महिषासुर का वध कर दें जिसने हमारे केशों में आसमान को कैद न होने दिया। हम फिर क्यों ना हर उस महिषासुर का वध कर दें जिसने हमारे केशों में आसमान को कैद न होने दिया। Thank you.
Wow, beautiful. Just
Excellent presentation. So moving.
This is beautiful. Such a great collaborative effort. Thank you, guys.
Very brilliant. Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing.
Amazing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I definitely want to bring up this idea of pregnant pause that Jyoti talks about during our Saturday poetry circles. Like when and if we are moved by a certain poetry, we're just like allowed to linger in silence to help us feel it, and definitely feels like that moment with this collaboration. Sujata's art and poetry and the music and singing by Lakshmi.
Can you quickly spotlight Lakshmi? I think people were not able to see her. So.
Yes, that is a good point.
Thank you, Lakshmi.
It was beautiful.
Beautiful
music.
The voice was so enchanting, Lakshmi.
Yeah.
Lakshmi composed it also. Like she composed it and she put everything together. Great, great.
Thank you so much, Lakshmi.
Yeah, thank you. It was so beautiful. Can we ask for Irshad? Irshad, Lakshmi? It was so beautiful. Thank you, Sujata.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So literally, I want to say Irshad once more. It's an encore. Lakshmi, can we listen maybe one line? It was
Yeah,
beautiful.
you can do a little bit of alap, I think, again, Lakshmi, like if you, I think that's what this.
Yeah, Lakshmi is going to conclude today.
Yeah.
She's gonna,
Okay.
we have a song from Lakshmi for us
Wonderful.
coming up
Thank you.
shortly. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So as we are really feeling steeped in this amazing magical energy, I am very honored to circle back and introduce Sandeep Kohli. Firstly, the organizer of this event, like huge gratitude from everybody. And now I introduce him as the poet, artist, our next presenter. Sandeep is an engineer by profession. His initial romance with poetry started with school book poems. He liked them so much that he started reading poetry books by poets like Harivansh Rai Bachchan, Dinkar, and Nirala. But when he read Diwane Ghalib, it changed the way he felt about poetry. He writes, Sandeep writes ghazals and nazms on his favorite topics of romance, philosophy, politics, and life. Tonight, he brings us two of his original Urdu ghazals. Another magic following. Welcome, Sandeep.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So I will be reciting two ghazals, and ghazal is like, it has got share in it. They call couplets. Each couplet has two sentences, two verses, and then you basically follow the rhyming scheme for rest of the, once you have established a rhyming scheme, a meter, you have to follow the same meter, and that's how a ghazal is. More complexities are there. There are technicalities in the ghazal, but I will just shift to reciting two of my ghazals. First one I plan to recite in a normal way, and then second one I want to do in tarannum. Switching on to Hindi, Urdu. दो गजलें हैं, एक मैं पढ़ूंगा, आप मुलाहिजा फरमाइए, और उसके बाद दूसरी जो है वो मैं तरन्नुम में पढ़ूंगा.
इरशाद.
शुक्रिया. तो मुलाहिजा फरमाइए. संगसार मजनू जब दुनिया में हुआ करता है, संगसार मजनू जब दुनिया में हुआ करता है, रगे पत्थर से भी तब खून बहा करता है.
वाह वाह.
संगसार मजनू जब दुनिया में हुआ करता है, रगे पत्थर से भी तब खून बहा करता है. हुई मुद्दत उसे महसूस किया था मैंने, हुई मुद्दत उसे महसूस किया था मैंने, लम्स वो आज भी हाथों में रहा करता है.
बहुत खूब, बहुत खूब.
हुई मुद्दत उसे महसूस किया था मैंने, लम्स वो आज भी हाथों में रहा करता है. एक तूफान को इजाजत की गरज क्या होगी, एक तूफान को इजाजत की गरज क्या होगी, वो तो हर लम्हा हवाओं में पला करता है, वो तो हर लम्हा हवाओं में पला करता है. दूर मंजिल है मगर हौसलों का हासिल है, दूर मंजिल है मगर हौसलों का हासिल है, हमें राहों में भी एक चेहरा दिखा करता है.
वाह.
राहों में भी एक चेहरा दिखा करता है. ये आखिरी शेर पढ़ूंगा इस गजल का. जर्राए खाक समझते हो, जर्राए खाक समझते हो, भूल करते हो, जर्राए खाक समझते हो, भूल करते हो, अपनी कुव्वत को ये आंधी से बयां करता है. संगसार मजनू जब दुनिया में हुआ करता है, रगे पत्थर से भी तब खून बहा करता है. ये पहली गजल थी.
बहुत खूब,
बहुत खूब संदीप, बहुत खूब.
बहुत बढ़िया.
दूसरी गजल मैं तरन्नुम में कोशिश करता हूं, और अगर अच्छा ना लगे तरन्नुम तो माफी चाहूंगा, मुलाजा फरमाइए।
इरशाद।
जरा फिजाओं में रंग भर दें, जरा घटाओं को आब कर दें, जरा फिजाओं में रंग भर दें, जरा घटाओं को आब कर दें। सितारे कब से सुलग रहे हैं, तुम आओ इनमें करार भर दें। सितारे कब से सुलग रहे हैं, तुम आओ इनमें करार भर दें। ज़हन में मेरे मचल रहे हैं सवाल कितने, ख्याल कितने। ज़हन में मेरे मचल रहे हैं सवाल कितने, ख्याल कितने। जरा सा ठहरे, जरा सा रुक लें, कि आज इनको किताब कर दें। जरा सा ठहरे, जरा सा रुक लें, कि आज इनको किताब कर दें। ईमान वालों की बस्तियां हैं, कहीं बुतों का है बोलबाला। ईमान वालों की बस्तियां हैं, कहीं बुतों का है बोलबाला। फजा में नफरत पनप रही है, नजर ना मेरी खराब कर दें।
वाह वाह।
फजा में नफरत पनप रही है, नजर ना मेरी खराब कर दें। और ये आखिरी शेर है, ये दुआ है, इट्स अ प्रेयर। आखिरी शेर जो है, दुआएं मांगो नई तरह की, जो दिल को थोड़ा करार आए। दुआएं मांगो नई तरह की, जो दिल को थोड़ा करार आए। जो नफरतों में झुलस रहे हैं, उन्हें मोहब्बत से शाद कर दें।
वाह 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 वाह।
उन्हें झुलस रहे हैं, उन्हें मोहब्बत से शाद कर दें। जरा फिजाओं में रंग भर दें, जरा घटाओं को आब कर दें। बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया।
वाह,
बहुत बढ़िया,
बहुत
सर।
खूब।
मजा आ गया।
बहुत ही सुंदर।
तरन्नुम के लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
बहुत शुक्रिया आपका, थैंक यू वेरी मच।
I am actually again another pause. It happens to me after every magic, but I will present to you our next artist who gave us a teaser with her singing. Lakshmi is back and she'll sing for us the Faiz poem, Bol ke lab azad hai tere. Lakshmi, it's yours.
Thank you, everyone. Okay. Sujata, you'll have to mute yourself.
I'm unmuted.
Huh? You have to mute yourself.
I am muted.
So, where is it echoing?
I'll move the laptop.
Okay.
Mute karo.
Sorry, technical difficulty time.
I think we can all use the pause because we are digesting everything before this, digesting very positively, very joyously. But if you're back, we are ready.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm reminded of the time when I first had newly joined the circle and we used to meet in person, once a month or so at Jyoti's place in Mountain View. And I was really trying to improve my Hindi because I'm a student of Hindustani classical music. And I used to just listen and sometimes pick up books to read. And one day I saw a book with the poems of fairs, and I casually mentioned to Jyoti that my teacher for music had actually set one of these to music, and I loved it. And that's when I think they realized that I sing, and then there was no going back. Now Lakshmi doesn't really get to read poetry anymore. Lakshmi gets to sing, which is just so good. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. I hope you like it. It's set in Rag Des.
जिस्म जुबां की मौत से पहले बोल के थोड़ा वक्त बहुत है जिस्म जुबां की मौत से पहले बोल के थोड़ा, बोल के थोड़ा, वक्त बहुत है जिस्म जुबां की मौत से पहले, बोल की सच जिंदा है अब तक, बोल जो कुछ कहना है कह ले, बोल जो कुछ कहना है कह ले, बोल के लब आजाद, आजाद, आजाद तेरे
Beautiful, Lakshmi.
Excellent, excellent, fantastic.
Wonderful.
शानदार, बहुत खूब लक्ष्मी, बहुत खूब।
Beautiful, Lakshmi.
Look at this.
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it's simply a a Saturday treat. Thank you so much. Thank you.
And this was our concluding presentation. And I give it back to Sandeep, Sujata.
Yep, I can.
मन तो लग रहा है इरशाद बोले, लक्ष्मी एक और गाना अच्छा से गजल जाते जाते एक दो लाइन और सुना दीजिए।
Actually, आप जय का थोड़ा सुना देंगे, the ghazal which Jay had, if you can read at least one share for that, so that will be
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Jay to send me the lyrics. Jay, just text me.
Lakshmi is saying Jay needs to send her the lyrics. Okay, I'll because it'll take some time for me to read all the comments. Okay. Now, before you go, I'll just read off the comments because it'll take time for me to type. So, Ilham says, so beautifully sung, Lakshmi ji. Loads of love and admiration for the choice of poem. It's beautiful expression. Anuradha ji says, wow, Lakshmi. Kala Mehta, very nice piece. Jyotsna ji says, wow, Lakshmi. Aarti Johri is congratulating everybody. And Kamla ji is saying, just brilliant as always, Lakshmi. Okay, so with that, I'll move it.
Go ahead. Thanks. So just a couple words about this. So this is Jay's really beautiful ghazal that he allowed me to experiment with setting it to music, and it has many sher, I guess is what you say. But I just set a few. Mute someone.
Sorry.
It is set to Rag Bihag. So this is a ghazal. I think it's about a man who feels a lot of love for a woman. So it's in Shringar Ras. That's why I set it to Rag Bihag. Okay. I hope you like it. Ah
पिघल रही उड़िया सीने में अटल है प्यास तेरी खुशबू की तपिश से उबल रही है प्यास बर्फ पिघल रही उड़िया सीने में अटल है प्यास तेरी खुशबू की तपिश से उबल रही है प्यास बर्फ पिघल रही उड़िया बांसुरी की सुर कभी आवारा में के शेर बांसुरी की सुर कभी आवारा में के शेर बनकर आज़ाने इश्क रग राग में है प्यास बर्फ पिघल रही उड़िया सीने में अटल है प्यास तेरी खुशबू की तपिश से उबल रही है प्यास बर्फ पिघल रही उड़िया
Can you bring Jay also to spotlight for a minute?
Wonderful.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very difficult to say how to respond to that. That's just simply, I'm just speechless response.
Spellbinding.
Incredible words and incredible music, and you singing it.
That was just brilliant.
Can we have spotlight on Jay as well? Right? Because Jay
Yes, yes, I have to. Yes.
Yeah. So Jay,
Thank you.
Congratulations. And
thank you. Lakshmi, I have to thank you once again. I mean, people like me just put words on paper, words into the world. You bring them to life. Thank you. That was just brilliant, beautiful.
Thanks, guys. Actually,
Yeah,
yeah. You know, I can speak from here. I'm sure people can hear me. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. So I was hoping that my cousin, who's my partner in crime, would make it today. He's in Jersey. I happened to be there on holiday, and I worked and bugged him day and night to give me feedback and to help me with places where I was stuck. So it was collaborative with someone who's not even here. But thank you so much. It was so much fun. It was just great. Thanks. I hope to do more of these.
Thank you. So, do I pass the baton back to you, Sandeep, now?
Yeah. I would like to thank everyone who have taken out time to come and join us today. Actually, that's what motivates us. And if you like it, please leave the comments on the YouTube as well here, so that will motivate us to have many more mahfils like this. And it will also encourage the participants. So thank you very much. And we really appreciate from the bottom of our heart, each and everyone.
Okay, before we go, I'll just put the Facebook group link here again on the chat, because there were some people who were asking me if they can read the poetry. I don't know if they're there. So you are welcome to join on the Saturday Poetry Circle. Today's program was kind of full, so we're sorry we could not accommodate you in the last minute, but please come to the Saturday Circle. So I'm finding that Facebook page link again to post so people can get it. Jyoti, can you post it again?
I can certainly do that.
Yeah, Kalaji, you can join this Facebook page. So, you know, we can't, I mean, we are not adding anyone to the list. If you,
If you're not on Facebook, just contact whoever you know in the room and
Yes.
we will plug you in. You don't have to be on Facebook to join us. We meet on Zoom every Saturday night. We will stay a few minutes to hear from the audience. Thank you for listening patiently and being here for us, to support us, to encourage all the poets. And I will remind the poets that we have an after party immediately after this ends, and the link is on our Facebook page. Thank you so much. You found the Facebook. Okay, good.
Yeah. So I have removed the spotlight now so everybody can see everyone. So in case people want to say something, now the stage is open.
So Sandeep and Sujata, I really want to thank you for inviting me to this session and giving me the opportunity to present my more recent poems as well. I know there's a lot of work and you guys put in a lot of effort into it. I really, really thank you from the bottom of my heart.
You're welcome.
Me too. Thank you so much for organizing this wonderful evening.
Thank you very much.
I echo that message too. Thank you so much, guys, for putting this together.
Thank you so much, Sandeep and Sujata and Jyoti and Pragalba. It's been a wonderful experience and a wonderful opportunity. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Sandeep and Sujata, for the efforts and for organizing this, and also like you reached out to so many newspapers and for the advertisement. That's really a lot of work and appreciate it.
A very big thank you to Jyoti ji for starting this whole thing, and definitely Sandeep and Sujata and Pragalba for organizing all this. And it was a great joy once again to listen to Jai and Navaneeth and Lakshmi and Sujata, everyone. Thank you.
I feel that between Sandeep ji's project leadership, Pragalba and Lakshmi's capability to build collaborations and organize, they literally made a dream come true. I had casually mentioned in a Saturday circle, it would be nice to do this, and they made it happen. So thank you. So grateful that you take an idea and run with it and make it happen and bring all of us together in this beautiful way. And we also have to thank Pankudi, who is not in the room, but is responsible for the banner behind all of us and all the millions of little ideas that went into creating it. So excited and so grateful.
Thank you.
And I have to announce that other dream that I had casually mentioned that is in the works is our second poetry book, which will have poetry and art. And Saswati and Biplap are in charge of that project. So we will be publishing that over time. If you have art or poetry to contribute, contact Saswati.
I'd like to make special thanks to give special thanks to Sujata and to Sandeep, because not only they worked really hard to organize, but they also fed me really well. All the times that I there's lots of tea, and so you really made me feel.
Where is this party happening? I need to be there.
Now I feel bad. I connected only on phone.
Yeah, so that just means more of us need to collaborate on a piece. Happy to feed you.
Yeah, I mean, Sandeep and Sujata, really, I mean, I know we meet every week and we share a lot of poems, but to bring this together so beautifully in this